executive members of Pan Tobago, Steelpan players, the media, and all Pan lovers present, good evening. As Brother Bree said, my name is Giselle Charles, Cultural Officer 1 from the Department of Culture, and I have been given the noble task to bring greetings on behalf of the Cultural Officer 2, Mr. Jesse Taylor, where Assemblyman Megan Morrison holds responsibility for the Department of Culture and Antiquities under the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Tobago House of Assembly. I wish to convey heartfelt congratulations to the Pan fraternity on achieving this distinguished milestone on attaining global recognition by the awarding of World Steelpan Day on August 11th, 2023 by the General Assembly of the United Nations. The United Nations acknowledges this modern instrument of the steelpan, our indigenous instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, as promoting inclusive societies, sustainable communities, while having a positive impact on mental health, well-being, gender equality, and youth empowerment. We are pleased to observe the positive trend of an increasing number of Tobago's youth, both male and female, gravitating towards playing this unique and powerful instrument of the steelpan. Look around you tonight. Aren't we seeing a lot of young people on the national instrument tonight? Give them a resounding round of applause, for they indeed are the future of Pan. For learning this skill not only gives them a sense of achievement and encourages social inclusion, while keeping them from negative social ills. The steel orchestras also reflect the various generations of our youth, mature individuals, and our elders, all working together for many hours to achieve excellence. Are we not seeing that tonight? Our elders and the other mature individuals represented, thank you, taking them to higher heights. So the Department of Culture, under the Division of Tourism, and the Tobago House of Assembly as a whole, continues to embrace our indigenous instrument by talent discovery through our various cultural programs. It celebrates and provides economic opportunities via its inclusion in our various cultural platforms, such as Are We Heritage on the Road, the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy Competition, Junior Heritage, and our cruise ship welcome. And we see from visitors all over the world constantly being drawn towards our national instrument. This growth embrace of our indigenous steelpan underscores its power to truly harmonize our society. What was once seen as a symbol of resistance now represents the true spirit of a proud people. We are therefore proud to stand in support of our national instrument and celebrate the heirs of this art form, which represents the building of a strong global industry, which is in fact the centerpiece of our historical, cultural, treasured legacy. I thank you.
Give her a round of applause, I tell you. All right, so we're moving right on, and let's welcome a lady that I have great admiration and respect for, Ms. Beverly Ramsey Moore, President of Pan Tobago. Welcome her as she gives us a few remarks as we acknowledge this day. Ms. Beverly Ramsey Moore.
I have a special team here. Madam Treasurer, will you please join me? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Let me acknowledge the representative from the Division of Culture, my treasurer, Lauren Pierre, from the Central Executive, the Regional Executive Chair, Mr. Brian Thomas, and all these hard-working members of the Tobago region. Give them a round of applause. And the staff of the Tobago region and of Central Executive. Steelpan enthusiasts, I see former chairman of the Tobago region, Mr. Renison Kwashi here, and Mr. Robert Marshall, who too would have served on the association here in Tobago. Members of all the steel bands here in Tobago. we are celebrating Pan Month. Yes? Since 1992, when Pan was declared the national musical instrument by former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, Pan Tobago has been celebrating Pan Month every single year. Every year we have been doing that. Born out of struggle and resistance, from behind the bridge, from Lavantil, a song that was accidentally bounced upon. This is a big moment for us in Trinidad and Tobago. And so we thank the government of Trinidad and Tobago for listening and taking note of the advocacy that went on to have this day declared by the United Nations as World Steelpan Day. That is the 11th day of August. And as we do that, we pay tribute to all those who contributed. The pioneers. And as I spoke, when I spoke in Trinidad, I would have named those persons who would have taken that old rusty drum and through the evolutionary process would have enabled that chrome instrument that we have given to the world, Trinidad and Tobago's gift to the world. And so at this time, I want, as a Tobagonian, to look at those persons in Tobago or those pioneers in Tobago who would have contributed and to say thanks to all of them. And so I am told that there was one Leo Spree King, one of the early pioneers. He was called Leo Spree because he traveled throughout Tobago making steel pans. And wherever he formed a band, there he lived for a while until moving again to another community. And a community like Canaan Bonaccord, well, Canaan in those days would have also benefited from his service. And then there is Oscar Pyle, a Trinidadian, of course, who came to Tobago and spent almost 15 years in the village of Speyside, where he established a steel orchestra called Boys Town. And then there was Bertrand Bob Thomas of Trinidad again coming to Tobago to help all our early pan men. And then we had Patrick Arnold. We all know Patrick Arnold just passed. May his soul rest in peace. He too would have contributed. Mr. Earl Wong, Carl Wong, Leroy George, Neville Bassa Moraldo. You remember Bassa? And Van Leer Perry. Those are some of, that's right, who would have contributed in the early days of pan here in Tobago. And then there was the Tobago Steel Band Association, which was charged with the responsibility of developing steel pan here on the island of Tobago. Mr. Patrick Arnold was the first chairman. And then we had Eric Charles. We had Claude Superville, who was the operations specialist. And other key personalities like Mr. Vince Learmont, Mr. Maurice Muir, Errol Caesar, George Franklin and Carl Brown, Mr. Robert Marshall. He was also chairman from 1994 to 1996. Renison Quashie and Maurice Muir, George Franklin and Carl Brown. We salute all those persons who were responsible for the development of pan here on the island of Tobago. And so Jeffrey Joseph and Mary Toby and Salisha James, some of the chairmen who served here in Tobago, and now we have Brian Thomas, and his central executive. Renison Kwashi also served as chairman of the Tobago region. I say all of this because the history is very, very important. The history is very, very important to us here in Tobago. And because of that, and the strength and the passion of a people, Tobago regions is one of the strongest regions in Pan-Trinbago because of the hard work. And so we are extremely grateful that there is now global acceptance of our national musical instrument. This is going to open up a significant pathway for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Opportunities, economic opportunities, both social and also in terms of our panmen and our tuners and our arrangers. They too are going to benefit from this. As you know, 84 countries would have signed on to that resolution, would have supported Trinidad and Tobago. And I am extremely pleased that I was given the opportunity to sit in the United Nations General Assembly to witness the 11th of August being declared World Steel Band Day. As a Tobagonian, you should be extremely proud. And so we continue. We have several bands to perform. We had a wonderful time in Trinidad on Friday, not so, Madam Treasurer, and not so? Yes. And we are going to have a wonderful time tonight. We have some of our really top-class bands here, and what we are really, really proud about is the amount of young people, as was indicated. We see PAN as a tool for social transformation. PAN is community soul, man. I feel it. I can feel it in my very spirit. PAN is intergenerational. You made the point. And that is why we see the mummies and the aunties and the grannies, and we see so many people coming into the sacred space. We had an event in Trinidad and we had over 15,000 persons. And nobody lifted a folding chair. Because PAN is happy music. There is discipline and there is order in the movement. And so I want to thank all of you for coming. You are very special. Continue to support your communities. Continue to support our youth in PAN. Continue to support your region. And may God bless us tonight. Have a wonderful time. As soon as the PAN start to play, the rain will stop. So have no fear. God bless.
Thank you, Madam President. And of course, we wish you all the best, you and your executive. And PAN will continue to strive. The rain is down, so what we're going to do, we are supposed to have Plymouth Bethesda Steel Symphony, Sensation rather, but we'll ask you to hold your hand a little bit, just for the rain to subside a little bit, because we want to all come surround you and feel the love. Meanwhile, DJ, fill the blanks. We had two DJs. Which one? The collecting? Yes. The chip. Hey.